Uh, Good evening, Reverend and Doctor. This is Beulah Multimedia. We are here to have an conversation with you about the excess use of rubbers and other polythene bags. We are here to see what advice and then what are some of the effects in polythene bags to the human society.
Oh, okay. In the first place, I will say we thank the Lord Almighty God for giving us an opportunity like this once again.
Okay.
And also, we thank your workers so much for being fair and also inviting and doing an interview with us. We must say we are very grateful and then we are proud to be part of your station. I think when you ask of extensive uses of rubber, many people are using rubber, and even including educated peoples. Let me say, most of our young men, even those who are in the universities, who are even having a second degree diploma, we are all using the rubber without knowing the effect of it. And the question is like the way you ask, what are the negative impact of it, and what are the also the positive impact of using a rubber. Now, when we talk about a rubber per se, rubber is something that we use a chemical, we call it fluorine, to do a rubber. Every rubber or every plastic is being made by fluorine. Without fluorine, rubber can never be in a rubber unless they add that chemical. So until whether the plastic is thick or it is light, whether the one they are using to prepare food as a takeaway, whether it is black rubber, it is red rubber, it is white rubber, fluorine is inside. Whether it is a gallon, whether it is whatsoever, anything concerning about a rubber or a plastic, fluorine is inside. And so, for example, rubber is something that causes a lot of things in our system and also cause a lot of things in the society. Why? Because rubber were made purposely for us to put something that is cool inside it, not what is hot. Rubber is made for us to put what is cool inside, not what is hot. For example, the white man have a bowl we call full flask. After making the rubber, he put a stainless steel inside the rubber. There is a reason for doing that. The reason is that when you even want to put food inside, you have to pour the food inside the stainless, so that it wouldn't touch the rubber and it will not cause harm to your system. So rubber purposely meant for cold food, but not for a hot food. Also, when we talk about rubber, rubber is something that they made it for temporarily. For
Means it
temporarily.
is a temporary use object.
Yes.
Wow.
It's not a permanent thing. Also, when we talk about a plastic or a rubber, when we are going to discuss something about a rubber, we wouldn't be able to finish it today. Why am I saying it? Rubber costs a whole lot. Sometimes it will be very sad that today a lot of diseases that we have been suffering from is coming from rubber, the uses of rubber. A person can get heart cancer through rubber, can get a kidney through rubber, can get hepatitis through rubber,
Wow.
can be impotent through rubber.
Even impotent.
Yes. Can have stomach ulcer through rubber.
Wow.
Gastric ulcer through rubber. So rubber causes a lot of things in our system. Do you know why?
No.
The reason is that fluorine is something that is toxic to the body. And fluorine is like when it enters into your body, it begins to rust. Like when you put a nail inside the water, within 1 week time, see that the nail will change into color.
Mm.
Or you put it in the ground, it will change into color.
Rusting will take place.
Good. So that tells you that something different has happened to the nail. So the same thing applies to rubber. The fluorine is inside the rubber, and without the fluorine, rubber can never be a rubber. Don't forget that our body too, there is holes in our body. There is holes in our body. So when you eat or you use rubber bucket to bath, some are using rubber bucket to bath. So when you put a hot water inside the rubber bucket, it begins to melt. So both the fluorine begin to poison the water. Now you bath that poisonous water into your blood system. One, you have been affected. Number two, we even have some people to the extent that he used a rubber bucket to bath with a hot water. Secondly, his wife will use a rubber bowl, fetch food for him to eat. On the third thing, the wife will use the same rubber and banish the banku or the rice balls.
And even drink in rubber cups.
Good. And even the least but not the last, the wife may also use a rubber ladder.
Oh.
So before you finish, the whole system has been poisoned.
You have been contaminated your body.
Good. So rubber is something that meant for temporarily. For example, you can put pineapple inside rubber.
Is it the slash one or the one?
Oh, no, when we talk about pineapple, the one you is already to eat.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That is already prepared.
Okay.
Pawpaw, you can put pawpaw inside the rubber.
Okay.
Anything that is cool meant for rubber. For example, you cannot go outside and buy porridge inside a rubber. Now you take poison in the morning through the porridge in the rubber. In the afternoon time, you went and buy food. You eat poison through the food.
Wow.
You might have been eating the food and you think...
before I come in, even our daily food, rice, water, tea, and then this porridge like this. I think every morning, if you go to all the sellers, it's rubbish.
Yes. And by then, you matter how the palatable the food is. You matter how suitable the food is. The food has been poisoned. Why? Because there is fluorine inside the rubber. So now he has fetching the porridge into a rubber bowl and giving you a rubber ladle. You have finished everything. You have spoiled everything in your system. In the afternoon time, you go to a food seller, buy inside a rubber again. Then you tie it. Before you get to the house or you get to your office, the hot or the heat has melted everything, mixed everything, and you take it. So if I am a person who I want to buy inside the rubber, I want to buy inside rubber, if you are a man, if it doesn't kill your manhood, it will give you kidney problem.
So dangerous. Kill your manhood.
Yes, it will give you a kidney problem. That is kidney. Most people are suffering from kidney failure because of the extensive use of rubber. Or it will give you heartbreak or heart burning, hepatitis, whether hepatitis B, C, or E is hepatitis. It can give you gastric ulcer, stomach ulcer. So it causes a whole lot in our system. Now, what I want you to understand is that a person may say, you see, at our local level, sometimes you want to buy the food and they will tell you that if they put it in the white rubber, it is better than the black one. And I'm telling you today, per research and experiences and then learning we learn, any rubber is rubber. Whether it is black, it is red, it is green,
including
it is white. Yes, including rubber balls. Don't forget I told you that any plastic at all, they use something we call fluorine to do it. And that fluorine is toxic. It's poisonous to our immune system. There is a book we call National Encyclopedia. When you study high and you get into that book, you know my details about what I'm talking about. Majority of doctors who like research, they know what I'm talking about. And they could know that yes, what I'm saying is by experience and it is true. Today you see a young man, 20 years, he cannot perform on his wife in the bed. You see a young man, 25 years, unless he get a helper or a lawyer, that is to buy medicine before he can go to his wife.
Wow.
You understand? So today, it can also, you see, most ladies are suffering from breast cancer because of these things. And I can confirm it to you. So what I want to say is that our dear sisters and mothers and wives who think they are faster enough for using rubber bowls for food to eat, for using rubber bucket to fetch water as a warm water and bath, to use rubber ladle at the same time, use rubber to put the banku or the kinke inside, wrap it, they should begin to run away from them.
Wow.
Either than that, it decreases life totally. If you were supposed to get 75 years before you die, at least you get 50 years and die. Yes.
Rubber alone has taken 20.
Yes, it alone have taken 25. Out of the 75, you have taken it. So,
doctor.
Yes, sir.
Like you are talking about this rubber issue, and then it is having so many effects to our body. So in terms of our land too, does it have effect to the land?
Oh yes. When we talk about rubber causes a lot. For example, rubber doesn't rot.
Yeah.
Rubber, it doesn't rot. So rubber were made in such a way that you can gather them at a particular place, bend them so that they will melt. Do you know that we can get fuel through rubber? We can get diesel through rubber, petrol through rubber. Yes. Rubber. The same rubber we are using, whether you are using the takeaway or you are using the plastic one, you are using the thick one or the light one, you can get fuel from it. Whether diesel or petrol, you can get it from it. And you can also get kerosene from it. At the same time, you can get what we call coal from it. So that is why when you want to melt a rubber, the moment you light matches on it, it burns like petrol. You understand? We have a machine that when you gather them and put them inside, that is the recycle. If you want to recycle it for petrol, most educated people and then most of the development countries are using rubber to get petrol and then diesel and the rest. So if you ask me that can rubber spoil our land? Yes. Rubber is supposed to gather at a particular place, get fire inside, and it will burn. Either than that, when you mistakenly and rubbers are plenty on your land, and you don't know, and you sow and a seed maybe fall into that rubber, it will be difficult for that plant to grow. Why? Because the root cannot grow until the root penetrate the rubber and go down before it can now germinate. So rubber causes a lot to our land.
Yeah. So looking at like animals like cattle, the goat, let's say the ruminants.
Okay.
Most of the times you kill some and then you see that they are roaming. You see rubbers being accumulated there, and that one mostly kill these animals. Is it the same that it kill human beings?
Oh yes, yes, because rubber per se, as I'm speaking to you, I told you earlier that rubber purposely is meant for cold food. You see, do you think that the white man is stupid? He's not a fool. He's not a stupid. He has learned in such a way that you have to do something that will come out good. The white man didn't mean plastic for hot food. He made it for cool food or cold food. That is why we have food flash. What is the name?
Food flax.
Good. So the food is inside the stillers. We have a bucket we call stillers, and sometimes they write on it 555. At least if you give birth to a baby, a small baby, you are supposed to use that rubber and bath your child until the child grows forever. Even you yourself, if you want yourself healthy, you have to use that stillers, that 555 bucket to bath. You understand? That is if you want your healthy. But if you doesn't want your healthy and you doesn't care, you can still use rubber to do your food. You can still use rubber ladle. You can still use rubber to buy your porridge. You can still use rubber to do whatsoever thing you want to use. So that one is when you want to die early.
Okay. So in what measures can we use to control this?
Oh, one thing I know about controlling rubbers is that we the citizens have to control it by ourselves.
Wow.
I'm having myself. At the olden days, they normally use leaves and other things to fetch food, Today the leaves are no more there. Who let them disappear? It is I and you. In the olden days, if a person going to buy food, he'll be going along with his bowl. Today, you will never see a lady going outside to buy food with a bowl. Who calls it? It is I and you. So if we want to go back to the natural thing, so that we can be able to live up to 100 or 120 years, again, as our grandparents were living, then from today, when we are going to buy food, we have to go along with our bowl. Even if we cannot go back and use that leaf normally we use to wrap the food. So when we are going outside to buy, we have to go with our bowl. And we have to also go along with a bowl that is not a rubber or that is not a plastic. You understand? For instance, this is a plastic. The one I'm sitting on is a plastic. You might have think that because it's thick, it's not a plastic, it's a plastic. So if you have in a bowl that is a thicker plastic and you think that it is not a rubber, it's a rubber. Okay. And it may cause harm to you. So the best way to do is to minimize the uses of rubber. Please, are you okay?
Yeah,
yes. To minimize the uses of rubber, that will make us safe.
So, in conclusion, what are some of the advices you are giving to the general public in terms of consumption of rubbers in our society?
Oh, you see, the little advice I will give it to people is that today it moved to extent that they said it is an ignorance that make a rat to fight with a cat. Other than that, you see, sometimes it is lack of knowledge. Even if a person buying monkeys, he want a rubber. Anything people are buying, he try to take a rubber.
Even now, if you want to buy MTN card or Vodafone card,
he still want to take a rubber.
Yes.
So what I would say is that we should minimize the uses of rubber by buying everything and be expecting to take rubber home. We should minimize it. Number two, to the food sellers, they are looking for their money. So there is nothing you will talk and they will listen to you. No matter how you talk, they will not listen to you. So we, the buyers, have to advise ourselves, especially I and you. If we are even buying the rubbers outside, we should make sure that when we get to the house, we shouldn't use a rubber bucket to bath with a warm water or a hot water. That is one. We should make sure that when we get to the house, our wives shouldn't use a rubber ladle. They shouldn't use a rubber bowl to fetch hot food. They shouldn't use a plastic rubber to wrap the food for us. They shouldn't be using a rubber to wrap the banku. Sometimes, do you know the most funny thing? Some will wrap up the banku with the rubber. It will melt the fluorine inside the food. The remaining small thing in the fluorine, to leave it, no, they will not leave it. On the next day, they will use all the rubber and the food and put it inside the pot. And they will close it and boil it again. They now want to mix the fluorine well so that they can eat the poison well. So my advice to all those people is, let's begin to minimize the uses of rubber so that our health is important. As we are looking at these green leaves, I think they are very beautiful. If we know how to use our life will be beautiful like that. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rev Dr Sampson Awintuam, for having this sweet and then nice interview with Beulah Multimedia. Yes, after viewing this, don't forget to subscribe, share, like our page, and also pass your comments. Please do that. Your subscription, your sharing, and then your like is very, very, very important to us. So we will continue with Reverend next time. And concerning polythene bags, we will divert more to the veterinary department to also speak about these rubber's effect to animals, our next meeting. So we are very, very grateful for meeting Reverend Dr. Sampson Awintuam for this face-to-face or one-on-one encounter. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yes.